We're back. I did it. So a couple of notes, just so everybody is aware. First and foremost, this is our Colorado recap. We didn't talk after the Heisman, so we'll talk about a little bit Heisman. We'll talk a little bit Alamo Bowl. We'll talk a little bit whatever we want to talk about here. And so we'll do that. And then the second thing is I think both of us are feeling a little bit blah. So if I go on mute or I take my camera down, it means I'm having a coughing attack, but I have steamed lemonade, I have some water, I have all the things, but hey, if it comes, it comes, and we'll just act like everything is normal and everything's fine. We're all adults. We can figure this out. We're all adults. So the other thing is this was Colorado's, this was the last thing, the last moment, the last everything. So before I get started on the Heisman Alamo Bowl, how are you feeling now that that's it, right? It's over. That path. I told people in my video, I think I said, we're ending the chapter of this. We're ending this chapter in the book. We didn't like the ending. So we're going to keep writing the story. That's kind of how I pictured it. But I was curious to know, how are you feeling? You've been on this journey literally since media day, quite frankly, a Big 12 media day till now. So how are you feeling now that we're at this point?
Yeah, it's most definitely surreal. I'm grateful for the journey, but it went by very fast, extremely fast.
Yeah.
Week in and week out, it's just okay, we're getting ready for a game, And it's you're almost programming yourself for Saturday. So being that, it's no more games for us, it's kind of bittersweet, but
it is.
Yeah.
You know what was weird is during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, I usually I'm very structured on when I wash laundry, when I do certain things. I caught myself doing my routine on the days that football was on, just because football was on, not because it was actually Saturday or Sunday, but just because football was on and this is what I'm supposed to do. So it was weird for me too. This whole month, I feel has been weird. Well, now we're in January, but December is always a weird month for me. So about the Heisman, how was your trip? Was that your first time to New York?
No.
Okay. So how was that for you? How was that whole experience going and landing and all of that?
The experience traveling was it was okay. I flew into New Jersey, and then I had to catch an Uber from New Jersey EWR airport to the hotel downtown.
Was that New York?
Yes, Newark, New
That's
Jersey.
the best airport to go to, but whatever. What do I know?
But yeah, we flew in there, and I had to catch an Uber, which was I got a deal for $60 from the airport to downtown. Yeah. So, the hotel was crazy because I guess every year they stay here at this hotel, the media, the players, and everybody associated with the Heisman stays in this specific hotel. And when you get there, you see these signs. It's the 90th Heisman Trophy Award ceremony, and you could see RG3 coming down the elevator, which I did. RG3, Mark Ingram, Steve Spurrier, so many legends and guys that won the Heisman. It was just honestly, for me, it felt like I was in Disney World.
That's awesome.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And, of course, the Heisman Trophy candidates were there. And like I said, you could get on the elevator with RG3.
Yeah. What an experience.
Yeah, somebody like me, that was I was a kid in a candy store. I was talking to him and, picking his brain just a little bit.
So I'm assuming then all the Heisman, everybody stayed there then. So did all the events happen there at the hotel, or were they somewhere else?
So the actual ceremony itself was held maybe 5 blocks up the road from the hotel. Okay. And the media press conference room and the breakout rooms were all in the hotel. And they did have a social lounge for the Heisman workers and stuff like that in the hotel.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I never thought about the logistics of how close or far, or is it convenient? Because that's always my thing. And anytime I travel, probably because I'm getting older, I'm like, how far is that? Okay, yeah, we can walk that. And then sometimes people are like, oh, you need a car. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to be a part of that. So it's in the city. It's so okay. Because I was wondering from your different videos, because obviously you had the video of the hotel, and then Travis had an event, and then you had the event, and then the actual Heisman. So I'm like, how much of this is walking distance, and how much of this is stressful to get to? So it sounds like it was all pretty close.
Yeah, yeah, everything was walking distance. The Adidas pop-up shop was maybe like 3 blocks over. Yeah, from
Okay,
the
which
hotel,
is
from
perfect
Times
from
Square.
in New York. If you've
Right.
never been to New York, I always say, for me, it's 10 blocks, 10 blocks max.
10
I
blocks
can go
max.
10 blocks, and about 8, I'm getting grouchy. So let's
Yeah,
keep it
yeah,
10. Like, let's
yeah,
mark it by the tens. Like, that's the
yeah.
best I can do. So today we'll go 10 blocks, and then tomorrow we'll have to get dropped off and come back. That's it. like
Yeah,
I
if it's
have my
past
limits.
10, yeah, if it's past 10, we're hopping on the subway.
It's too far. Yeah, it's too far at that point. It's way too far for me. So the other thing is, now that I remember this in your video, was the pizza good? Because I saw the line the first day, and then you went back the next day. Was it good? Did we ever
It
see
was
you eat
worth
it?
it. It was
Okay.
worth it. It
Okay.
was worth it. Worth the
Okay.
wait. Yeah.
Because you were like, I'm not standing in this line. And then sure enough, as soon as the camera came back, you were like, okay, well, I'm in the line at the pizza place. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So then you get there, ceremony happens. Where are you all during the ceremony? What can you see during the ceremony? And how was that experience for you? Because you probably wanted to get up and yell and scream when Travis won, but you were like in this space where you can't, you probably shouldn't do that. So how was that for you?
Yeah, so for myself, I was in the media press conference room back at the hotel the entire
Okay.
time.
Oh,
Unfortunately, we didn't get to go into the ceremony. Only the
okay.
players, past winners, and their family members and coaches and Heisman
Mm,
trustees were actually able to go in the award ceremony. So it was
okay.
very, very
I didn't
like,
know that. So there
yeah, it
isn't an
was,
audience. So the
yeah,
audience members are former.
yep, former winners,
Oh,
and the Heisman and Nissan, like higher up people. So. Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
it was locked down. They locked it down pretty tight. But yeah, I wish I could have went in the ceremony, but
Yeah.
just
Okay.
being there still,
Yeah.
it was second to none. So and
Yeah.
Travis had to come back in the Sprinter van, and they drove him back up to the hotel, came back up, and he did his press conference. So
I love that. And then I know I asked you this off camera, and I've been asking this question randomly in my videos. Did you get to lift the Heisman trophy? Is it heavy? What is it like? What is it? Does it feel like old metal? Like, what does it feel like?
yeah, so I've felt it before this trip, and it's really heavy. It's very heavy, but we weren't allowed to touch it,
Okay.
and
You could just
uh,
stand really close to it.
yeah, yeah, you can touch like the base, like the black part up under it, but like
Okay.
touch
That
it
it
and grab
stands
it.
on. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that stands
Okay.
on, but
Okay.
you can't really touch the trophy, and they were, very overly very protective of the trophy, as you would, expect,
It's
but.
like a diamond, but it's not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's
That's
like the
funny.
thing about it is they have so many replicas. That was a replica. That was definitely a replica.
That's why I don't understand. Why are they acting like that?
Yeah, yeah. But the one that Travis won at the award ceremony, he brought that one back, and he got to keep that one. And you could tell it
Yeah.
was different because it was cleaner. It wasn't as like dull. It was very shiny. And new. So
Nice.
yeah.
After it was over, press conference is over, everything's over, and you go and you're already at the hotel. I'm
Mhm.
assuming Travis stayed there as well. Did you see them anymore? Was that the last time you saw them when he left, or did you see them in the hotel just being around?
Yeah, so this is what happened. I'm in the press conference room, and I'm trying to post. Well, I was on TikTok, and I had like 14,000 people watching my TikTok live of his press conference. And it's like you don't get 14,000 people every day. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to entertain them, talk to them, and promote my YouTube and all that good stuff. And
Yeah.
next thing I know, on my other phone, I see Travis Hunter's downtown Times Square running with his trophy. And it's like, okay, I gotta
Oh.
go out there. So it's like, I'm trying to balance the two, and I just like, okay, let's wrap it up and go check it out. But I didn't see them anymore. They went to like a
Okay.
private party. Yeah.
Got
So.
it. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this when I go to sporting events. It's like the hoopla, the rah, 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 rah. And before you realize it, kind of like in your videos, how it's like crazy, then it's over, and then you go and it's like craziness just happened in here. There was just 60,000 people in here, and now you can hear a pin drop. It's always just like a weird, I don't know. Maybe that's because that's life. Like it keeps moving. It's like in the NFL or when you watch football and you see a player go down and it's 20-minute stoppage and he gets carted off in an ambulance. And then it's like in just a second, it's nobody's thinking about it. Now we have to focus. And it's eerie. It's
Yeah.
so eerie. So I was just
Yeah.
curious if it's just over. Well, that was all I had for the Heisman. experience. Is there anything you want to share that maybe you haven't shared, or just something that now that we are a little bit further removed in recording? And let me just be honest with you, audience. I don't know why we're late in recording. Okay. Life happens. We had a plan, and then we didn't have a plan, and then we had a plan, and then I think I messed up the plan, and then maybe we didn't get back to each other, and then naps happen, and then falling asleep, and then we don't feel well, and then this, and then that, and then life, and we're adults. Okay. So I don't know why we're late. We're late. It is what it is. Like, love us regardless. Okay. We're flawed. There we go. So FYI. So for those of you that are wondering, like, somebody messaged me and they were like, is everything okay? And I was like, is everything okay? Like, what happened? And they were like, are you going to do a recap of the Heisman? And I was like, oh crap. Right. Like, but it's weird. It's like Christmas, like, anyways. So for those of you wondering, everything is fine. Just, life sometimes happens. So there it is. But is there anything else you want to say about the Heisman before we get into this Alamo Bowl game that BYU showed up to play for? I'll leave it at that. Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say that was a very eye-opening experience. Just seeing all the candidates, they work so hard to get to that point in their career, and they don't get a chance to watch themselves in real time. They only see like the film, and it's like they think to themselves like, okay, I'm gonna win the Heisman, and that's the mentality that Genty had, and it's like he sees only like maybe highlights of Travis Hunter, but he knows what he put in,
right?
And he's just mentally like, oh, this is a no-brainer, I'm almost breaking the record, but it's just a different perspective, and to actually see them as normal human beings, which of course they are, but to actually converse with them and just to see how far they've come, you have a different level of respect for them. So
there's a saying about like being in the room, like you never forget when you're in the room or you working with somebody that's great. You always remember it because you feel their energy, you see their composure, you see how their brain is moving, you see, depending on the thing, you see how their body is structured, like, and you never forget it because you're always like, so for me, my person was Kobe. I went to go watch him play. I did all the things, and he just never, like, he was never satisfied. And I remember I started taking on that persona. And my mom used to be like, stop and smell the roses. And I'm like, what you don't see is this hard work those are my roses. I get to smell my hard work, and nobody got that. And then when Kobe, like, people started to appreciate Kobe, I'm like, that's it. And so it's similar. It's like, now listen, like, I'm not like, I wasn't friends with Kobe or anything like that. But when you're in a room or at a game, or when you're watching these amazing athletes do amazing things, you're just like, okay, so work hard. Okay, study. Okay, eat right. Okay, be disciplined. You start like making those lists, and it's like, that's a good remander too, for me to get my crap together. Probably not, but whatever.
Definitely, a lot of people think that way though, for sure.
Everybody always says I have it. Everyone's always like, you always have it together. I'm like, if you only knew. Just because I make it look good doesn't mean I have it all together. Let me tell you that. So on to the Alamo Bowl. So, honestly, I don't even have really a lot to say about the game for obvious reasons. But when did you know, or when did you have a moment where you thought, this might not, we might not get out of this one? Like, when was that moment for you?
Definitely first quarter, 6 minutes into the game, I was just like, this is not good at all. It's like they were dominating early, which is a very scary sight. And whenever you see, Colorado versus dominant teams, it's not really good. It hasn't been good. So
they were they were everything I said Colorado was going to struggle with, right? It's just like athletic, big, fast, well coached, all the things. So how was their size? What on TV, to me, it looked like BYU was blowing Colorado off the ball every chance they get. Their linebackers looked like they were 2 steps faster than anybody we ever had play linebacker. Again, I could be a TV thing, but how did you feel being there? Were you like, oh my gosh, these guys are just like different? What are they doing? What are they eating at BYU? I can tell you one thing: they're not drinking caffeine, they're not drinking alcohol, they're not listening to music, like all the things. Yeah. But like, what were you thinking when you were watching them?
I'll say this. From my perspective, I was just like, okay, they're a normal sized team, you know. But my guy Mike, he was just like, man, what are those guys eating? Those guys are big, they're huge, you know. I was like, okay, Mike. He kept saying it, and then like at the end of the game, we ran into some of the guys, and I talked to them, you know, and they were huge, but yeah. You know, they have a amazing strength and conditioning program, and I'm sure that they've, you know, had time to build that as a unit. You know, and that's what's important. And Colorado, that they're still in the building phase, but they definitely have a program established.
Yeah, I think so. I made my reaction video, you know how only I can do it, you know. You can probably figure out some things that I said. And in my comment section, I had a lot of BYU fans. And they basically were like, something similar. You know, it took us a while to get here. We used to struggle with this, and then we did this, and then we did that. So they've been building a program. It goes back to the conversation that I always say. Colorado needs to focus on building a program. And when you build a program, sometimes it means you don't win as many games as you want to one year, but it's okay because you start to kind of build and grow. We can't focus on building a team. A team isn't going to get it. We've got to build a program. Right. And BYU, everything just looked good. I mean, again, they weren't the most athletic. They weren't the most physically imposing team per se, but they just did everything right. Like, it just looked good. Yeah. It flowed. Nobody ever looked confused. I mean, when you thought they were going to run the ball, they ran the ball. You know, when you thought they were going to take a shot, they took a shot. I mean, it was just like freaking field goal kicker. Perfect. Texas needs to go tamper with the field goal kicker. And like, sorry, clearly I'm triggered. Clearly I have a problem with field goal kickers right now, clearly. Yeah. But honestly, Texas, go reach out to the BYU's kicker, okay? Thank you. Tamper, BYU, kicker. Thank you. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice if we had a kicker? So yeah, so that's why I'm just kind of like, I can't get past it. I can't. I know we won the game. I just can't let it go. Yeah. So, oh God, what a joke. So, and it wasn't the first time. Same stadium. Okay. Stadium, yeah. I gotta focus. I got triggered. I got a little bit off track. So, one thing though, I will say that I also learned that I kind of knew that I wasn't sure of is something about. It seems like when Colorado plays a team that we all know the team's strengths, it's almost like Colorado comes out and they don't know their strengths, if that makes sense. Like, for example, we knew Devin Neal was going to run the ball. We knew that. Yeah. We knew getting Kansas State. Like, we knew, like, it's always like when we know the game plan, I'm like, why are we not? Oh, we're not ready for this game plan. Okay, which game plan did we practice for then if we're not ready for the game plan? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's players. I don't know if that's coach. I don't know. But and anyways.
Yeah, it's definitely coaching. The coaching scheme, the game plan. But
yeah. So can I ask you a question? I've never been in a football locker room ever on any level because why would I? It's not really my thing. I mean, I have sat in on a couple of peewee locker rooms, but, you know, it's kind of different. I'm assuming, and please tell me if this is not true, when you're preparing for a team, like when you is there like a meeting, like a total team meeting where they go into the room and they call out the things and you hear it as a group, or does that only happen in position meetings? Like, is there a total team meeting where it's like, let's break down the University of Texas. What do we know about them? This is what they do. And then you break out and then you practice individually. Like, how does that usually work?
They'll usually split it up by offense and defense. First they'll have like the big team meeting, and then they'll break out into offense, defense, and then they'll break out into individual position.
And then they'll work the plan. Okay.
Because
I just feel like
no, like as offense and defense, that's when they'll work and talk about, the schemes and stuff.
Okay.
But then specifics come in when you break out to individuals.
Okay. Because I'm one of those people, I'm always looking for somebody to blame. Like I always want to know why. Where did it break down? Like when did we part from the obvious? I just want to know. Like, and if you tell me it's because, like I'm making this up, but if you're like, oh, it's because the communication between this team and this group didn't get it, like the defensive line thought this and the linebackers thought this, okay. But it's like something about the way that we're doing things. I'm just like, it seems like we just can't get on the same page. Even the games we won, I'm like, are we on the same page? Are we okay? But anyways, the season is over. You lose the bowl game. How is the team after losing that game? Could you tell a difference on the sideline?
Honestly, before the game, I noticed it was a different energy. Like them getting off the bus, how we've always had, the boom box and
where was the boom box?
I have no idea. It was just a very different energy. I can understand them wanting to be, more focused and more locked in, but if it don't change it up, don't switch it up. It's the last game.
Yeah.
Not the last game. Come in, your energy, your swagger that you've had all season, and it was just different. It was a different energy, different vibe, and you can tell some of the guys were locked in, some of them were not. But I'm not going to say they weren't locked in, but they weren't their usual.
Yeah, it just looked different.
Right. But after the game, players were definitely sad, and for some of them, this was their last game.
That was it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. That eerie. I was like that. My dad had tried to prepare me for what it was like for volleyball to be over. Mm-hmm. And he would always tell me, hey, just remember, come December, this is it. And that was in October. I was like, okay, because I would be complaining about practice or whatever. He's like, just remember, like, this is coming to an end. And I still didn't realize what that meant until as soon as the game was over. And then I was like, I don't have to show up to practice. I don't have to go lift weights. I don't have to go run. I don't have to do. So I can only imagine how they felt in that moment when you're like, not only did we just lose, it's over. That's it. Yeah. So interesting. So season's over. Didn't end how we wanted it to. Great things happened this year. So, what is something? So again, I want to preface this by saying all of us are just kind of in let's be honest. Texas is still driving me nuts. So I still am, whatever. The Steelers are still also driving me nuts because they're going to the playoffs. So I'm still in this phase of like everyone's still driving me crazy. So I'm still there. But for most people, Colorado is their team. Now they've realized it's over. It's officially the off season. What are you looking forward to as far as like what Colorado has going on, even for yourself? Like, are you thinking of like what's next for you? I know people are dying to know if you're going to cover the team next year. Mm-hmm. I know people want to know if you're probably going to go to the spring game. Like there's probably so many questions for you that people will probably never ask, but everyone's kind of wondering it. So me, I'll ask. So what are you thinking of like where you're at right now after everything is kind of gone and you've gotten to take a deep breath and you've gotten to like sleep in your bed and not have to plan another flight ASAP?
Right. Right. For me, I am definitely thinking about my future, and it's not for certain if I will be covering them next season. I would like to, if there's another opportunity, I may have to, but as of right now, I'm looking forward to the East-West Shrine game, which is this month. Then you have the Combine. I don't think I'll be at the Combine, but the Combine, NFL Draft, and things like that, and then the spring game.
Yeah. Are you going to try to go to the draft or the Combine? Or
it depends. It really depends on some things. Even if the guys are even going to go, because it's in Green Bay. It's going to be in Green Bay this year. And
the draft.
The draft, yeah. And
would you go to the NFL? Was it the Combine? Would you go?
Yeah, I think they're super strict though about media. I think
it's pretty strict.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will. And you might be able to get in there. But I always tell people, and you've heard me say this, the NFL is a business. Like the NFL, like all the ways you think college is strict, the NFL, you can't even wear the wrong color sock. You will get fined. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. Like they don't play that crap. So if you get in there, I'm speaking into existence. When you do, everybody needs to realize how big of a deal that would be to be able to be a part of anything the NFL has going on. The NFL says yes to you. That is a huge deal. So just putting it out there into the universe so that when it happens, everyone realizes like, oh, this is a really big deal for him that he's going. Yes, huge deal. Yeah. So if you can get in there, take that opportunity.
Right. I will.
Yeah. And so you're not sure about what you're going to do with Colorado next year, or is there, if you weren't covering Colorado, who would be your dream school?
Instead of a school, I would say probably like the Lakers, NBA. I like.
Okay.
I want to cover LeBron in his last few seasons. That would be really cool. But if I had to choose like a university, I would probably say either FSU or UGA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I feel like UGA is going to be on a redemption tour.
Yeah.
I think Kirby Smart's going to be pissed.
Yeah. He is.
Yeah. He will have earned it though, because some of that game was on him. So I'll just leave that where it's at. Okay. And then my other question is, what should people start to expect from your content? I know there was a couple of things that you were doing and focused on during the season. Sorry, almost lost it. Uh-oh. So what can people expect as you move forward? Because you can do so many different things and a multitude of different things, and you have a lot of different backgrounds and experiences and things that you could do. So what should people be expecting from you for probably the next couple of months, I would say?
Yeah. Most definitely, I would say better quality. I invested, I don't know if you could tell, but like in the beginning, I had like these HD high quality videos. It was like of Coach Prime and his sons and Travis. But I used like a different camera and a different lens that I just invested into. But definitely better quality. I'm, practicing on using that camera more, but I thought it was really cool. And I think I'm going to drop a cinematic type recap as well. Different clips, but yeah. So
yeah, like a highlight reel.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Did you take a picture of the Shedeur Travis or Shedeur Shiloh Coach Prime moment?
Yes. Well, I was trying to record the video, but like as soon as they turned around, then I took a picture with my camera here.
I think I might need that as my thumbnail. So if you got to this video and you see that picture, that is where it comes from. Cool. But I think it's kind of a perfect encapsulation. Whatever that word is.
I don't know.
Yeah, there it is. The kind of like the end scene of like their backs. I think that's perfect. Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with us? Anything that you want people to know? You said the shrine. When is that date? Do we know?
I think the 24th of January, maybe.
Okay.
It's like on a Thursday, Friday type deal.
Okay. Are you going the whole time?
It's in the middle of the week, so I'm still unsure right now.
Why do they do that?
I don't know. It's crazy.
And these kids are in school still. They just don't care. It's so wild. That's what I'm like. They honestly just don't care. It's like the transfer portal dates are all wonky. I'm like, so my team's in the playoffs, but I'm not playing, but I want to go to a new team, but I can't go to a new team because I kind of want to win a ring, but I also want to go to a new school because I'm not playing, but I can't go to the new school yet because my team. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So anyways, awesome. Well, I appreciate like just spending time with you, talking to you every week, being able to do this collaboration. We will find a way to chat. We'll figure it out. So whatever you're working on or whatever you have in store, or if you just are ever like, hey, let's talk about why Texas sucks. Call me because we can hit record and we can talk about that. No. But yeah, I don't even know what the future holds. I think I will say, I think the future of the Colorado football program right now, I think this is the time where every decision that is made starting from now until kickoff against Georgia Tech is going to be very important. Like in my opinion, every decision that's made right now has to be intentional, has to be on getting talent that can help now, and has to be on like making sure they can win games. Like very intentional, because I don't think people realize how big of a loss Shedeur is going to be. Travis is going to be. Shiloh's going to be on defense. Even just his presence of having him around and in the locker room, and Cameron Silman Craig and, Hill Green and BJ Green, right? Like, yeah. And so I just think if I could give any piece of advice, as if anybody's going to listen to me, I would just say, like, take a deep breath. It might take it a minute to look how you think it's going to look. Maybe. That's all I'm saying. So just, like, listen.
Yeah. It won't be Texas as flashy, though.
Well, yeah. Texas was 5-7, and then they were 8-4. And let me tell you something. That 8-4 year, boy, I tell you, we were on the struggle bus. Okay, even the 11-1 year, we were on the struggle bus. So I'm just saying, like, sometimes you have to take a deep breath, and sometimes when you lose your quarterback and your star receiver in corner, it takes a minute. So that's all I'm gonna say. Just takes a minute. So, anyways, we'll end on you. Anything else you want to say before we end this? And as soon as you're done talking, I'll hit the end button.
Cool. Yeah. Most importantly, just for everybody, whatever you do in life, don't be afraid to start. Just do it now. I caught myself kind of like suffering from over analysts, paralysis of over analysts, something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, it's just like over analyzing the situation and not putting forth action. And that's the difference between everything that we want to do and make it happen. Let's do it.
Yeah. Put forth that action. All right. Bye, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Peace.